Ladies, let me tell you something. Knowing your worth is not just a phrase. It's a lifestyle. It's a mindset, a way of carrying yourself, and a standard that you've set so high that nobody dares to treat you like anything less than what you are. Extraordinary. Too many times we let people dictate our value based on how they see us, how they treat us, or how much attention they give us. But here's the truth. Your worth isn't dependent on someone else's validation. It doesn't shrink just because someone fails to see it. You are not valuable because a man says so. You are valuable because you exist, because you are powerful, because you are you. Think about it. When was the last time you questioned your own worth because someone treated you like an afterthought? Maybe he canceled on you at the last minute. Maybe he made you feel like an option, like you were just there when it was convenient for him. And maybe, just maybe, you allowed it because you wanted to believe that one day he would see your value. But let me ask you, when will you see your value? When will you decide that enough is enough? A man who doesn't recognize your worth is not someone you need to prove yourself to. His inability to see your brilliance does not make you any less dazzling. You don't need to convince anyone that you are worthy of love, respect, and loyalty. That's something you should already know within yourself. The moment you allow someone to treat you like a second choice is the moment you tell them it's okay to continue. And let me tell you, it's not okay. You deserve to be with someone who looks at you like you're the only person in the room. Someone who doesn't make you doubt where you stand in their life. Love should not feel like an audition where you are constantly proving yourself, hoping to get picked. It should feel secure, steady, and strong. The right person will never make you feel like an option because to them you will always be a priority. But here's the secret. Not everyone is going to see your worth, and that's okay. What's not okay is lowering your standards just because someone doesn't meet them. Too often we shrink ourselves to fit into a space that was never meant for us. We dim our light so someone else doesn't feel overshadowed. We compromise on things we once swore we wouldn't, all because we fear being alone. But let me tell you, being alone is 1,000 times better than being with someone who makes you feel unseen, unheard, and unimportant. The moment you start seeing yourself the way you deserve to be seen is the moment everything changes. Confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room or demanding attention. It's about walking into a room and knowing that you belong there without needing anyone else to validate it. It's about carrying yourself with grace, dignity, and self-respect, knowing that anyone who can't appreciate you simply doesn't deserve you. When you know your worth, you stop settling for half-hearted love, for mixed signals, for people who only show up when it's convenient for them. You stop answering late-night texts from someone who only remembers you when they're lonely. You stop making excuses for why they treat you the way they do. Instead, you demand more, not with words, but with actions. You walk away from anything that doesn't honor your worth, and you don't look back. And let me tell you, when you finally choose yourself, something magical happens. The same people who once treated you like an option start realizing what they lost. Suddenly they remember your kindness, your strength, your presence. They reach out. They want to fix things. They miss you. But by then, you're already too far ahead. You've built a life where their absence no longer affects you, where you are thriving, glowing, and moving forward. That's the power of knowing your worth. It's not about making someone else regret losing you. It's about making sure you never regret choosing yourself, because the day you stop waiting for someone to see your value and start recognizing it for yourself is the day you step into your full power. So to every woman out there who has ever felt like she was just an option, this is your wake-up call. You are not an option. You are not a backup plan. You are a force, a queen, a masterpiece. And the moment you start acting like it, the world will have no choice but to treat you accordingly. Now go out there and own your worth. Let them watch, let them regret, but most importantly, let yourself rise. There comes a moment in life when you have to make a choice not for them, but for yourself. The choice to walk away, not in anger, not in desperation, not in pain, but in grace. When someone treats you like you are disposable, when they make you feel like you are just another option instead of a priority, the most powerful thing you can do is leave. Not with bitterness, not with tears, but with dignity, knowing that you deserve better. Too often we stay in situations where we are no longer valued. We cling to the hope that things will change, that the person who took us for granted will suddenly realize our worth. We cry, we beg, we overthink every little detail, wondering what we could have done differently. But here's the truth, if someone truly cared, you wouldn't have to convince them to treat you right. Love, respect, and loyalty should never be something you have to fight for. They should be given freely by someone who genuinely sees your value. So why waste your energy trying to make someone see what they are too blind to recognize? Why cry over someone who didn't hesitate to hurt you? Why plead for attention from someone who never made you a priority? The answer is simple: you shouldn't. The moment you realize that, you take your power back. You understand that walking away isn't a sign of weakness, it's the ultimate display of strength. It's saying, I know my worth, and I refuse to settle for less. And here's the thing about walking away with grace: it's not about making a scene or proving a point. It's about showing that you are in control of your own happiness. When you leave with your head held high, without anger, without drama, you show that you are unshaken. You don't need to scream, you don't need to fight, and you certainly don't need to beg for closure. You are the closure. Your silence, your absence, and your refusal to engage in their games will speak louder than any words ever could. Because let's be honest, some people only realize what they had once it's gone. They don't appreciate your presence until they feel your absence. But by then it won't matter. You will have already moved on, already found peace within yourself. They may reach out, they may try to make amends, but you won't be the same person who once waited for them to change. You will have already grown, evolved, and stepped into the best version of yourself. Walking away with grace doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It doesn't mean you weren't hurt. It means you choose not to let that pain define you. You refuse to let someone else's inability to love you properly affect how you see yourself. You don't allow their actions to dictate your self-worth. Instead, you take all that energy you would have wasted on them and invest it in yourself. You focus on healing, on growing, on building a life so beautiful that they become nothing more than a distant memory. And that's the real victory. Not revenge, not making them jealous, not proving a point, but finding peace. Finding joy in your own company. Falling in love with yourself in ways you once hoped someone else would. When you walk away with grace, you don't just leave a person behind, you leave behind all the insecurities, all the doubts, all the fears that kept you there in the first place. You step into your power fully and unapologetically, knowing that you are more than enough, just as you are. One day you will look back and realize that walking away was the best decision you ever made. You will see how much you have grown, how much stronger you have become. You will understand that the love you were searching for in someone else was always meant to come from within you. And when that day comes, you will smile not because you proved anything to them, but because you proved everything to yourself. So, if you ever find yourself in a situation where someone makes you feel like you are not enough, where they treat you as if you are easily replaceable, remember this: you do not have to stay where you are not valued. You do not have to cry over someone who didn't see your worth. You do not have to fight for a place in someone's life when you were meant to rule your own kingdom. Leave with grace, walk away with strength, and never, ever look back. There comes a time in life when you have to make a decision not for anyone else, but for yourself. The decision to rise, to evolve, to step into the life you deserve without hesitation or regret. When someone treats you as an option, when they fail to see your worth, you don't waste your energy trying to make them realize it. You don't beg for love, attention, or validation. Instead, you level up. You become the best version of yourself, not to prove a point to them, but to honor the person you are meant to be. Too often we get stuck in the cycle of looking back, reminiscing, wondering what could have been. We replay conversations in our heads, overanalyzing every little moment, trying to make sense of why things turned out the way they did. But the truth is, the past doesn't hold the answers you're looking for. It only holds lessons. And once you've learned them, you don't need to keep looking back. You take what you need, and you move forward with power, grace, and a renewed sense of purpose. The most powerful transformation happens when you shift your focus from them to you. When you stop worrying about whether they miss you, regret losing you, or want you back, and instead start investing in yourself. This is your time to grow, to heal, to evolve into the person you were always meant to be. There is no greater revenge, no greater success than living a life that makes you happy, one where you are thriving, glowing, and unstoppable. This is not about pretending to be okay. It's about actually being okay. It's about waking up every day and choosing yourself in ways you never did before. It's about setting new goals, creating new dreams, and taking every setback as a setup for something greater. It's about surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, who see your value, who remind you of the incredible person you are. Because when you level up, you naturally outgrow the people who couldn't appreciate you. And that's okay. Not everyone is meant to be part of your next chapter. There's something incredibly powerful about a person who refuses to be defined by their past. Someone who takes heartbreak, disappointment, rejection, and turns it into fuel. Who uses every tear, every setback, every betrayal as a stepping stone to something greater. That person doesn't waste time looking back at what was lost. They are too busy building what's next. And here's the truth: when you level up, people notice. The ones who took you for granted, who thought you would always be there, who treated you like an option, they will see you rise. They will see you happier, stronger, glowing with confidence, and they will realize what they lost. They will remember how they made you feel, and they will wish they had done things differently. But by then, it won't matter, because you won't be the same person anymore. You will have already moved forward, already built a life so fulfilling that their absence no longer affects you. The biggest mistake people make is thinking that moving on means finding someone else to replace them. But true leveling up has nothing to do with finding another relationship. It has everything to do with rediscovering yourself. It's about becoming so secure, so confident, so in love with your own life that you don't need anyone to complete you. Because you are already whole, and when you reach that place, everything changes. The energy you put out shifts. You attract better people, better opportunities, better love, because you have become better yourself. There will be days when the past tries to pull you back, when memories come rushing in, when you wonder if you should reach out, give them another chance, or reopen a door that was meant to stay closed. In those moments, remind yourself of why you left. Remind yourself of the times you felt unseen, unappreciated, unimportant. Remember how hard it was to pull yourself out of that place, and then remind yourself of who you are now, stronger, wiser, and ready for more. The best thing you will ever do for yourself is to stop looking back. There is nothing behind you that is more valuable than what's ahead. Your future is waiting. Your dreams are waiting. The love you deserve is waiting. But first, you have to decide that you are worthy of it. You have to step fully into your power and own every single thing that makes you incredible. Because once you do, there is no going back, only forward, only up, only toward the life you were always meant to have. So level up, focus on yourself, become the version of you that doesn't just survive but thrives, and never ever look back. There is a kind of power in silence, in an absence, in simply removing yourself from a situation where you were once undervalued. It's a power that doesn't require words, doesn't demand attention, and doesn't beg for closure. It speaks louder than any confrontation ever could. When someone treats you like an option, like you are replaceable, like they can come and go from your life as they please, the strongest response you can give is to take yourself away fully, completely, and without hesitation. Let them feel the emptiness you leave behind. Let them sit in the silence where your voice used to be. People take presence for granted. They assume you will always be there, always waiting, always available. They assume that no matter how they treat you, you will stay because you always have. But when you finally walk away, when you remove yourself without a fight, without drama, without even so much as an explanation, it shakes them. They don't expect it. They expect pleading, arguing, and one last attempt to make them see your worth. But what happens when you don't give them that satisfaction? What happens when, instead, you choose to disappear? That's when they feel it. That's when the weight of your absence settles in. At first, they may not notice. Some people are so wrapped up in their own world, so confident in your presence, that they assume you will return. But as days turn into weeks, as weeks turn into months, they start to feel it, the lack of your energy, your kindness, your love. The little things you used to do that they never fully appreciated, the texts you no longer send, the check-ins that no longer come, the care they once dismissed so easily, it all starts to hit them like a slow, creeping realization. And here's the thing about absence: it creates clarity. It forces people to see what they ignored when they had it. When you are always there, your worth is easy to overlook, but when you are gone, your value becomes undeniable. And by the time they recognize it, you have already moved on. You have already healed, grown, evolved into someone who no longer looks back, no longer waits, no longer settles for half-hearted love. Letting someone feel your absence isn't about revenge. It's not about playing games or making them suffer. It's about self-respect. It's about knowing that you deserve to be valued in your presence, not just in your absence. The right person won't need to lose you to appreciate you. The right person will never put you in a position where you feel like you have to prove your worth. But the wrong person, they will learn the hard way. See, when you walk away, you give them the opportunity to realize what they lost. You give them space to reflect, to sit with the consequences of their actions, and trust me, they will. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day they will look around and realize that no one else cares for them the way you did. That no one else loves them with the same depth, the same loyalty, the same unwavering presence. They will try to find you in others, and they will fail, because what you brought to their life wasn't ordinary, it was rare, it was irreplaceable, it was you. But by the time they feel that absence, it will be too late. Because absence doesn't just make them miss you, it makes you realize how much better off you are without them. How peaceful life is when you are no longer waiting for someone to see your worth. How much lighter you feel when you are no longer carrying the weight of a love that wasn't reciprocated. How much happier you are when you finally choose yourself. So let him feel it, let him sit in the silence. Let him wonder why the world feels a little less bright without you in it. Let him experience the very thing he never thought possible, life without you. And while he is busy realizing what he lost, you will be too busy embracing everything you've gained, your freedom, your happiness, your self-worth. Because at the end of the day, the person who deserves you will never have to lose you to appreciate you. And the one who took you for granted, he will finally understand the price of his own mistakes. But by then, the only thing left for him to do will be to regret, while you, my dear, will be far too busy living your best life to care. There comes a time in every woman's life when she must make a decision, not for him, not for closure, not for revenge, but for herself. The decision to no longer be the one waiting, wondering, questioning. The decision to stop prioritizing someone who treated her like an afterthought. The decision to shift the power back where it belongs, in her own hands. For too long you gave him your time, your energy, your love, and your loyalty. You made sacrifices, you adjusted your schedule, you rearranged your life just to fit into his. And what did he do? He made you an option. He reached out when it was convenient, when he was lonely, when he had nothing better to do. He gave you just enough to keep you holding on, but never enough to make you feel secure. He kept you in a space of uncertainty, waiting for his attention, his commitment, his validation. But not anymore. Now it's his turn. The tables have turned, and the same man who once treated you like you were replaceable is about to learn a hard lesson. Because now he is the option, he is the afterthought, he is the one who has to wonder if you'll answer, if you'll show up, if you even care anymore. And the best part? You don't. This isn't about playing games, it's about reclaiming your worth. It's about no longer giving the best parts of yourself to someone who didn't appreciate them. It's about recognizing that you were never meant to chase love, to beg for attention, or to prove your worth. Love isn't supposed to feel like a competition, and a relationship isn't supposed to feel like a constant audition where you are trying to prove you are good enough to be chosen. You were always good enough. The problem was he was never worthy. So now, instead of being the woman who waits for his call, you are the woman who barely notices. Instead of jumping at the chance to see him, you make him wait. Instead of responding within seconds, you take your time, if you even respond at all. He made you feel uncertain, like you were always one step away from losing him. Now, he gets to feel what it's like to not be a priority. He gets to experience the very thing he put you through. And the best part, you don't even have to try. The moment you choose yourself, the moment you stop caring about what he does or doesn't do, is the moment you naturally become the one who holds the power. And trust me, he will notice. He will feel the shift. The energy that once revolved around him will be gone. The woman who once hung on to his every word will no longer be available. He will wonder why you don't seem to care, why your responses are slower, why you aren't as eager, as invested, as desperate for his time. And that's when it will hit him. He took you for granted. He assumed you would always be there. He never considered the possibility that one day you would wake up and decide you deserved more. But now you see it. You see that you wasted too much time on someone who never valued you properly. You see that love isn't supposed to be this complicated, this exhausting, this one-sided. And you refuse to go back to that version of yourself, the one who settled, who accepted breadcrumbs, who believed that she had to fight for someone who wasn't fighting for her. That woman is gone. The new you is focused, driven, and unbothered. The new you understands that the person who deserves your love will never put you in a position where you have to question it. And here's the irony: now that you've pulled away, now that you've shifted your focus, now that you've stopped caring, he will start chasing. He will try to get back the attention he once had. He will reach out, test the waters, try to see if he still has access to you. But it won't be the same. Because he lost his place in your life the moment he made you an option. And now, if he wants to be a part of your world, he will have to earn it. The best revenge is not anger. It's not yelling, not arguing, not trying to make him understand what he lost. The best revenge is becoming the woman who no longer needs him. The woman who has options. The woman who is too busy living her best life to even think about the man who once treated her like she was disposable. That is your power, so let him feel it. Let him wonder, let him regret, but most importantly, let yourself rise. Because the moment you stop chasing is the moment he realizes he lost something truly irreplaceable, and by then it will be too late. There comes a moment in life when you have to make a choice not for them, not for the relationship, not for what you thought it could be, but for yourself. That moment is the turning point, the moment when you finally decide that you will no longer settle, no longer beg, no longer wait for someone else to see your worth. Instead, you will see it for yourself. You will choose yourself every single time, no matter who walks away, no matter who stays, no matter who fails to give you the love you so freely gave to them. For too long, you have prioritized others. You have put their happiness before your own, adjusted your life to fit into theirs, and given so much of yourself that there was barely anything left. You have fought for love that wasn't reciprocated, stayed in situations that drained you, and held on to people who let go of you a long time ago. And yet, despite all that effort, you were still left feeling like you weren't enough. But the truth is, you were always enough. The real problem was that you were giving too much of yourself to people who were never capable of appreciating it. That's why choosing yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. It is the ultimate act of self-respect, the decision to put your own happiness, your own peace, your own dreams first. It is understanding that you are not responsible for fixing people, for making them realize your worth, for proving to them that you are worthy of love. The right people will see your value without you having to prove it. The wrong people will only drain you, make you doubt yourself, and leave you empty. So stop waiting for them to change. Stop waiting for them to finally see what they had in you. Stop giving endless chances to people who keep showing you that they don't deserve them. The moment you decide to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you is the moment your life truly begins. It's when you reclaim your power, your confidence, and your peace. When you choose yourself, you stop settling for the bare minimum. You stop accepting inconsistent love, half-hearted efforts, and empty promises. You no longer tolerate being treated like an option. You stop making excuses for people who continuously hurt you. Instead, you set boundaries not to push people away, but to protect your energy. Because not everyone deserves access to you, and not everyone deserves your love. Choosing yourself also means learning to enjoy your own company. It means realizing that you don't need validation from anyone else to feel complete. It means falling in love with your own life, your own dreams, your own journey. The more you focus on yourself, the less you will crave the attention of those who never truly valued you in the first place. Because the truth is, when you finally see your own worth, you will stop trying to convince others to see it too. And here's the beautiful thing about choosing yourself: it attracts the right people into your life. The more you love yourself, the more you set standards, the more you refuse to accept less than you deserve, the more you will find yourself surrounded by people who truly respect and appreciate you. The energy you put out will shift, and so will the people you attract. No more one-sided relationships. No more chasing after love that isn't given freely. No more settling. But choosing yourself isn't just about relationships. It's about every aspect of your life. It's about walking away from anything that no longer serves you: friendships, jobs, environments, habits, and even old versions of yourself. It's about knowing when to let go, when to move on, and when to step into the next chapter of your life without fear. Because the truth is, when you choose yourself, life has a way of aligning in your favor. Doors open, opportunities arise, and things that once felt impossible start falling into place. However, choosing yourself isn't always easy. Sometimes it means walking away from people you love. Sometimes it means being alone for a while. Sometimes it means facing your fears, healing from past wounds, and rebuilding yourself from the ground up. But every step you take toward choosing yourself is a step toward a better life. A life where you are happy, at peace, and surrounded by love that is genuine and effortless. So let this be a reminder: no matter what happens, no matter who leaves, no matter how many times life tries to test you, always choose yourself. Choose your happiness, choose your peace, choose your growth. Because the moment you do, everything else will fall into place.